welcome to episode 131 of Rookie Hunter. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, spending lots of time outdoors and with family. I think that's the most we can do at this weird time is just make the most of it. So hope you guys are doing well. Before we get into things here, I'm going to try and fumble my way through this without getting too emotional, but we had to say farewell to somebody who's been on the show since the very, very beginning, and that is my four-legged pal, Oscar. So for those of you that followed the show, you know that he was always sitting on the couch next to me. You'd hear his collar and stuff every once in a while. So we are going to miss him. I'm definitely going to miss him. He was my companion in the backcountry and my studio dog and my podcasting partner. He was pretty much by my side 24/7. So I'm grateful for the time we had. But I'm sure he's out there somewhere having a good time. I hope that you guys will raise a glass of whatever you got this evening to him, because he's been a big part of the show, whether you knew it or not. He's always been there. Anyways, I think I did it. I made it. Let's move on into the episode here. You're gonna get some updates from the farm. Never a dull moment there, and a little bit of gear talk, and just the usual from Garrett and Kelly. So sit back, relax, crack an ice cold beer, raise that sucker for Oscar, and enjoy episode 131.
Garrett, what's on tap?
Oh, I got the Cab Sab going again. How about you? What you got going?
How about the Cab Sav? I'm keeping it pretty classy with a Bud Light.
Ooh, nice.
My craft beer game has kind of gone down the tube, which is probably good. You hear people talking about the COVID-15, like, gaining 15 pounds through all this, and
from drinking.
I've been evading that so far. With craft beer, though, you got to be careful, man. Like, it just catches up with you after a while. Mike and I record, we were on a weekly schedule there for quite a long time, and always had some craft beer ready to go. And, it doesn't take long for it to start showing.
You guys were pretty adventurous with your variety too, right? You guys were always coming up with something different. Well,
BC's got a good scene going there. There's lots of Vancouver island beers, and then it started crossing over to the interior. Well, pretty much everywhere, like even out in the Kootenays and Nelson. There's some good breweries. Fernie, Kelowna has a bunch of good ones. So it kind of just turned into, there's so much to explore.
Yeah, I hear every time we go over there to visit my brother or Mike or you, the Okanagan has such a wide selection of booze.
Yeah.
Even wine. Even wine.
Yeah. Lucky to live here. Close to the Kootenays too. Lucky to live in the Kootenays.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much the terrain changes, though. I mean, there's a lot of folks that listen to this that probably, haven't been to BC, but, in a matter of 3 or 4 hours, where I am in Kelowna, it's pretty arid, desert, pretty plateau-ish type landscape. And then when you move over to where you are, it's, deep valleys, tall mountains, lots of ranges, thicker kind of vegetation. It can be hot and dry there too, but, Kelowna's South Okanagan, you start getting into almost desert territory. So it's pretty crazy how things can change in a matter of a few hours in a car.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's actually, I kind of like it. You get a little of everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, lucky to live in BC. What's new over there?
You know what? Not a hell of a lot, Kelly. Just rolling with the weather changing and praying for snow in the forecast, that sort of thing, from obviously a hunting perspective. But staying busy with the dogs and the horses, and kids,
Yep.
family in the house. So everything's good. How about you guys over in the Okanagan? What's new?
Yeah, man, just working, keeping busy. Not a lot on the outdoors hunting front. I mean, so far you've been kind of carrying the content on that front with your dogs and with the hunting. Last time we talked, you had gone out looking for cougar, or cats, I guess, in general, and you didn't have much snow, which turned out to be a difficult thing. So, are you still getting out there? Or are you kind of, you have to have snow before you're going to go?
You know what? I still I work 4 days on and then I get 4 days off. So somewhere in that 4 days off, I'm out just about every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, in my mind, it's like, well, you never know what's going to happen. And I mean, we had this conversation, like you just got to get out there.
Yeah.
And
More
so,
time.
yeah,
Put the
more.
hook in the water.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it. So I feel like it could happen at any time.
Yeah.
So I get out as much as I can. And actually, I got out there the one day. Actually, a friend from work there, he got a hold of me, said, "Hey, I got a couple cats on my trail camera. Do you want to go in there and take a look?" I said, "Absolutely. That'd be great." So I've never put the dogs in the truck before, and I don't have a
Mhm.
dog box. Now this is something I got to do because the one dog, he didn't do too well. Something I found out later, like I guess they can get car sickness or motion sickness or something like that. So I loaded the dogs up. The one dog did really good, but the other one he just projectile vomited all over the inside of the truck.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was a mess. But
On the
whatever.
way out or the way back?
Both ways over there. But like when I first bought my truck, I bought those Cabela seat covers. Those things are awesome.
Yeah.
They take a beating. So
Yeah, I remember
thank
those.
God I had those, man. They saved my upholstery. Yeah, he made a big mess. Whatever. Shit happens. I cleaned it all up. We get out there. The hunt went good. It was like the good part about was it like all the snow was frozen rock solid, so you could stay on top without like post holing through it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Sort of. And I was like, we went out. I'm like, it's gonna be tough to find any sort of track in this, but I mean, if we could find a fresh kill, then that would be great. And luck would have it, we did. We found one. The dog found one, which was great. So I was like, well, it's got to be a cat in here somewhere, but it was just extremely hard to find any track, like any tracks around it. Like the snow had been, it snowed a bunch and then it poured rain and then it froze everything solid. So, I mean, like even my weight standing on the snow, like you could barely tell.
Yep.
So to find anything that was coming in out of this kill was tricky, but on the plus side, at least we know there's cats in there and he's got them on his trail camera, which was, I mean, it was awesome for him to give up that piece of information. And he's, I mean, eager to get out and go do these things too. And my wife came along too, which is great. Like I talked about that before. So it's good to get
Yep.
out. And I got out again
Awesome.
today, which was good. It was just good for exercise, good for a walk, good to see what's out there and kind of cruise around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just today was kind of uneventful.
Yeah, today there wasn't the same sort of thing. Snow conditions the same. It's rock solid. So it's like you're walking right on top of the snow and you're not seeing much for tracks. Like I'm seeing old bobcat tracks, but nothing
Yeah.
new or fresh.
I can just see you flipping out in the truck, man, when your dog's projectiling.
Well, at least when we came back, like I could see him kind of doing it. I just barely got him
Right.
out of the truck before
They got that weird, funky smile happening.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like when he gets, I don't know, anxiety or whatever, he starts drooling and there's just like a waterfall of drool down the truck. I'm like, well, that's not good. I don't think that's right. What's going on here? And then,
Nice.
and then, yeah.
See, that's how it goes. You go to bed thinking, you're kind of picturing what the day is going to be like, and then, within the first hour, it isn't quite what you expect. I think that kind of flies true for hunting and fishing in general.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, just get out there, put the miles
Yeah.
on, like you said, just keep logging them, and eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, on the topic of dogs, we should touch on this episode as well. Listeners, longtime listeners will know about Oscar, the Weimaraner, and that's Mike's dog. So Oscar, he was getting pretty old there. He's 13, 14 years old, and he passed on recently, just this week. So, I just wanted to mention, he was part of the rookie hunter team there for a long time, since the beginning. Pretty much every episode that we had recorded, Oscar is sitting in the middle, right? So he's up on the couch. I always say, God forbid he had to sit on the floor, man. That dog, he had to be on a couch. He had to be, in the car. He had to be, he was treated well. One of the luckiest dogs I know. So yeah, we'll miss Oscar, and just thought we should give him a bit of a cheers here tonight.
Definitely, Kelly. Cheers to Oscar.
Cheers, buddy.
And Mike, giving that dog amazing life.
Yeah, man, Mike, every day that dog was out for runs and hikes and mountain bikes and everything, man. So he definitely had a good life, that's for sure.
Definitely.
That's the tough part about pets, man, and dogs. They just don't last as long as you want them to. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of animals. We didn't touch on your horses last time either. What's going on with the horses?
People are going to listen to this and be like, "Man, this guy just loves the abuse, eh? These dogs take him through the ringer, and then these horses just, yeah." The horses are, well, they showed up, and then when they came from Rocky Mountain House there, like I mentioned, but they had a really wet season. Mm-hmm. So of course, me being new to the horse thing, they showed up and they had thrush. They had thrush on their hooves. It's kind of like
both of them.
Just the one had it really bad. So I was like, "Oh, great." The farrier kind of went. She's like, "Ooh, you got to get on top of this right away. Otherwise, it's gonna. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could turn into something really bad."
Well, you mentioned you got on it pretty quick, though.
Oh, like as soon like the woman there I'm using to help me out with their hooves, the farrier, she's unbelievable. Like, and just a wealth of knowledge. So she set me up. Mm-hmm. She's like, with the remedy to cure it and all that. So every night I've been going out there and putting this stuff on them. Like, I mean, it's been like torrential downpour, and I've been working on them. And I mean, the good thing is that right now where I've got to with the horses, like, I mean, my wife's tied up inside with the kids and that. So I go out there and I kind of just wait till they're eating. Mm-hmm. And then I'll walk around them and pick their hooves up and that. And they're pretty good. Like, they'll stand still for the most part. Sometimes they'll take off, but for the most part, they'll stand there and lift their feet up. And that's a challenge in itself, just to get them to stand still and pick their hooves up. Yeah. I mean, it was a challenge just to put this remedy in there in the first place when that one horse was really sore with thrush. Like, at first, like, it would like kick its leg hard, like it didn't want, like, it was kind of like, "Get away from me, don't touch me." Mm-hmm. Like, it was sore, so it didn't.
Yeah.
So that whole thing, and I feel a lot better now because I have it under control. It's getting better. I wouldn't say it's completely fixed, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than what it was. And the fact that the horses are getting a lot better with me being around them, and you know what I mean? They're getting like comfortable with me picking their hooves up and that. And now sometimes I can just tap on their leg and they'll pick their hoof right up.
Nice. And so you're forced to go out there a lot, and you're kind of getting some bonding time
every day. And then like the days I work 12-hour days. So I'm not out there until like, and like I said, like some days, like it's pouring rain or whatever. Like you got to do it. Mm-hmm. You can't just say like, "I'm not feeling it today." Otherwise it's like, well, yeah, I don't know, this thing's just going to turn into a lawn ornament.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how long do you think until that's all cleared up? Like, how long does this take?
Well, I'm really leaning on the farrier to give me that input. And then the last time she was up, she's like, holy crap, this is unreal. This is good. You're doing a good job. So that was
Mm.
really reassuring that she's giving me that confidence that, because like I'm taking her word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, she's like, you got to stick with it and just keep going. And then so every time that she comes, then she assesses the situation. So I'm going in the right direction and it's getting cured. So it's good. And the horses are getting a lot better with having their hooves picked up. So, I mean,
Nice.
I'm learning. This is kind of going back to what we talked before. Like, I feel like I learn a hell of a lot more when I go through this way. You know what I mean? Like, kind of
Yeah.
when you get tossed these curveballs and you got to kind of learn from them instead of
Yeah.
just everything just always falling into place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, good to have some mentors around too.
Oh, definitely.
Cool. Well, yeah, hopefully that continues in the right direction, and you don't have to go out there after your 12-hour shifts every
Oh, yeah.
night.
And I sent you that text there. I was like, what did I say there? I said, take a guess at this. And it was all that stuff I was putting together.
Oh
And it
yeah,
looks like I
looked
was,
like you were in a meth lab or something.
looks like I was
Putting the
cooking meth.
spackle together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just slap all that stuff in there
Yeah.
in their hooves, and I don't know. I guess it helps dry it out or something.
Yeah. It kills it. And then, yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a whole new world. One that I probably will never experience to the fullest, but that's why you're here to help explain what we're missing.
Oh, there's going to be more too. Yeah. Just wait till I start slapping saddles on the things. That should be fun.
Yeah.
I should videotape
Do you have all that stuff?
No, that's going to get into this year. So
Yeah,
I don't,
that's going to kick you in the wallet, I think.
oh, that's going to hurt hard. But whatever. I mean, I've done a pile of research. I kind of know what I want. So
Yeah.
I've narrowed it down. And then when we get into it there, we can start talking about it.
Cool.
But like just
you should put the Rookie Hunter logo, just stitch it right on that saddle, customized.
Yeah, we probably could do that. That would actually look pretty badass. That'd be awesome if they could do that.
That would be.
I like that logo.
Cool. Well, good luck on the horse front. Hopefully they get cleared up here, and we'll keep following that story. Sheep Week.
Yeah, Sheep.
That was last week, which we mentioned. What are your thoughts?
Hey, I thought it was great because with everything I got going on here, there's no way in hell I could have gone down there, even if none of this COVID existed. So me being able to get in on it, how it was, and how they were able to distribute it out to everybody, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. You know what, man? I've been to a couple, and it's very scheduled because you go down and, each night kind of has a name, like Legacy Night. And, I don't know, I can't remember the other ones, but it's all scheduled, and each night has a theme. And, there's events that you look forward to each night. There's drawings you look forward to each night. And I thought it was cool how they kind of ensured that was still the case virtually. Everybody's working, folks have kids and everything else, but even after putting in a hard day at work and getting the kids down, you were looking forward to jumping online on your computer and like participating virtually and seeing what the new videos were out that day. Like they didn't put all the content out there at first. They kind of like released it as they would kind of in person.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I mean, virtual, it's just tough to pull off in general. Like the engagement is just so much harder. And I think they nailed it. Like, and I'm not surprised, like, just kind of, being involved with WSF to date and going down there, they know how to put on and organize something like that. So it was good to see them pull it off.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed being a part of it. And I really hope that they continue to do this, even if the COVID goes away and you can still, like, you know what I mean? They open up, everybody can get together. I still hope that they make it available for people to go online still join.
Right. Right. Kind of like an ongoing sheep family. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been considered, but that's a good one. Um, but one day I came on and I looked at the leaderboard because they have like, some games going on. You get points, and I see your name at the top. You got like 350,000 points, and then the closest guy is 100,000 points away. I'm like, what? I couldn't even figure out how to get more than 25,000 points just from, clicking around in there, but I was laughing to myself.
Yeah, it was one of those magical days where I had no kids and I had all the time, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing with my time. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get on this thing. I think I started at like 5 something in the morning, and I checked out like everything. I went through everything,
Nice.
all the material they
Nice.
had there. I don't think I missed a thing. I attended all their seminars. And the cool thing about it too, like I'm sure other people do this, but if I'm ever like interested in an area that I want to go and hunt, I try to figure out who the outfitters are in that area, and then I'll find their
Mm.
webpage, and they'll see the caliber of animals that they're harvesting. And I know that those outfitters they're not putting everything on their webpage because I'm pretty sure they know that the locals are
Mhm.
doing that, especially sheep.
Mhm.
And I'm going to give this one away, but I'm sure other people know it, obviously. But sometimes how they take those pictures, you can make out the background, and you can figure out somewhere with
Yeah.
Google Earth. Like I've done this before. I'm like, oh, they're on this peak here. If it's a real noticeable peak, it's like, oh, there's sheep up
Mhm.
there, or elk, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yep. Or
And
even just the landscape. Like, are they in the grass? Are they in the rocks? Are they in the, like,
ex-
just, I guess, more generally?
oh, for sure. Like, is it winter when they're
Yeah.
harvesting these big orange sheep? Like, majority of the pictures are they taken when there's snow on the ground, or is there,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
or like elk. Like, what are the majority of the elk on their page? Are they all 300 plus, or are they, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Raghorns, or
Yeah.
so?
It's
Yeah.
funny. Hunters and fishermen, man, like they all turn into Sherlock Holmes as soon as there's a photo.
Oh, for sure.
And it's
Yeah.
amazing what you can, maybe not even find out 100%, but you can kind of set your guesses. And you
It,
could be right.
it's better than nothing. That's the way I
Yeah,
look at it. It's something.
exactly.
Not that I'm trying to be sneaky or anything. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. But
No, I mean, if the info is there, then
oh
you might as
yeah.
well try to look for it.
Then I like to always see
Um,
like what they're charging for hunts and that too.
yeah, that's just so, it makes you feel lucky that you live here.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
uh, um, I was just thinking of, some of the other content they had there. They had some good videos. One of the ones that stands out for me was the Clay Lancaster field judging video
Oh yeah.
for the sheep.
Yeah.
That was a good one. There's just a lot of experience there. I mean, he's a pretty well-known guide and obviously knows his stuff. So Mike and I have talked a little bit about that kind of thing on this show and before we did our last sheep hunt, but that's a whole you got to put some time in and learn that type of stuff before you just wander out there. And we haven't been in a position to age or judge a sheep in person yet, at least one that we consider harvesting. But um, you know I always try to imagine what it would be like to be in that situation. I think it's very difficult. You just got to slow yourself down. And, if it takes a day and you got to come back tomorrow, then that's what it takes. Or if it takes 4 hours or whatever, I think that's the key. But, you listen to experienced guys talk about, and there's lots of resources like that online, whether it's Wild Sheep Society of BC or, any of the conservation organizations or, provincial or state wildlife information. But, you got to do your research on that front. We've said that before, but that was one of the things that stood out to me at Sheep Show too, is just, that educational side and hearing from these guys that are, a lifetime of experience.
Yeah. There's a wealth of knowledge there.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I guess, staying in line with that technology front, we had a question from Gobes on Instagram regarding iPhone apps, and he's wondering what we run, if anything, in terms of iPhone apps for hunting. You know, there's a few that I have on my phone. I guess a couple general ones that most people would have is just some type of mapping app, like whether it's Google Maps, anything like that. And a good one actually is FatMap, just because they have, very high resolution mapping. It just seems to look better. And you can really zoom in there, and you can, you can get 3D views. You can, I believe on the desktop version, you can set your elevation exaggeration. So, when you're looking at Google Earth and oh, that doesn't look like a very steep hill. I think I can climb over that one and I'll get to like 2 ridges away. And then you get there in person, it ends up being like a, 70% grade.
That I feel like that happens all the time.
Every time.
Yeah.
So, I like to use that kind of tool because, I just set it for like, 2 or 3 times what the normal is. And then, I get a more realistic expectation, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to go at it.
So, tools like that, anything mapping wise. But as far as like the hunting ones go, I think a lot of people know about Hunt Buddy, which is more of a, seasons type app. What species are open at which times, and then it kind of gives you a link to the actual regulations, like a PDF version. And it'll at least give you an idea if you're crossing into a new zone, I believe, just based on the GPS on the iPhone, but you can't, really rely on it 100%. But, the one that I prefer is iHunter. And that one, I think there's good mapping capabilities, first of all. They have a subscription that you can add to it for private land subscription. So, I with these apps, I don't think you ever want to rely totally on them to, you kind of want to do your homework still, whether it's regulation based or like location based, but it will give you an idea of like where the private land is, gives you a bit of a, I guess, advantage on that front. That's an annual subscription to get that. But you can, kind of go in there, you can put some waypoints and find some areas, maybe try to get up near some private land without doing anything, getting in there at all. Like just kind of finding pockets where you wouldn't normally think you should go, whether it's for turkey hunting or for anything else. The other thing that I appreciate with the iHunter app is it has website capability. So like if you're on your desktop, you can go on there, you can stretch out the screen and make it super big. So like even if you're sheep hunting or whatever, you can go in there and it has really good capability for putting other layers on. So, you can go into BC government web pages and you can get overlays for, type of forest, right?
Oh, yeah.
Over landscapes. So you can, you can kind of overlay and then figure out, okay, this is all Douglas fir, this is all spruce, this is all ponderosa pine. You can kind of get like those overlays put on. You can find, forest fire history. You can find all these different map layers and then you can plunk them on top, right? So that's kind of cool from a research perspective. So like with iHunter, I kind of use it more. I'm finding I'm using it more at home as kind of like a research tool. And then any waypoints I put on there, it automatically transfers them to any device that I'm using too. So if I'm out in the woods, I can kind of check like where was that waypoint that I put on there. So that's kind of what I'm using iHunter for. So I think in that capacity, it's like way better than Hunt Buddy. But I would say those are kind of the key ones I'm using, and iHunter's probably at the top of the list. What are your thoughts, Garrett?
Uh, my thoughts on this, I think it's a tool, but you have to, like any other tool, I think you should know its limitations.
Hmm.
And I think you should do your homework on it and know what it's capable of doing. And like you said, don't use it as the be all end all.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
point.
for like with maps, I'm in the same boat as you. I run that InReach Mini. So when me and Mike were up north on the sheep hunt, I did everything on the InReach. So I had to load the app on my phone with that Garmin EarthMate map,
Mm.
and I could
Yep.
plot my. We could do the like it's got the topo kind of maps, and you can get like the satellite imagery maps and all that too,
Yep.
which is really good. But when it comes to like you said, hunting apps, I agree with you, Kelly. You want to go right to like either the hard paperback hunting synopsis and
Hmm.
have that, or go to the actual government BC where you can load up the actual hunting regs. Because I have found discrepancies in there with both. So like I said, just if you're ever uncertain, go straight to the
Hmm.
source and know it, especially if there's an animal that you're going after.
Yeah.
Make sure you know what you're doing. And like I know they'll like when you load those apps up on your phone, it'll say like it'll give a blurb on like the whole legality on it, right? Like the you
Yeah.
can
Don't
you
trust it 100%.
don't trust 100%. Yeah. And I know they talk about a lot about boundaries. I mean, like you should, and most guys know this, people listening to this, but you should know your major landmarks before you go out, especially if you're getting close to where management units are the borderline lies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I think they're good for reference, and I think they're really good if you know what they're capable of doing and what their limitations are.
Yeah. I think it's a good point, man. You don't want to get yourself into trouble over a piece of technology, and I think one of the best things everybody can do is, like you said, look at the actual synopsis before you go on a hunt. Um, and if fishing too, I always think look at the fishing synopsis before you go to any new lake or anything like that. I mean, you might fish the same lake over and over and over, so you're an expert on it. But you know, I always bring that book with me too if I'm heading to a new lake, and even in the morning, man, I'll just have a quick look at it and just double check that
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. So yeah, that's a good point.
Even upland game hunting too, which I haven't done since I was a little kid and going with my dad, but like knowing what ducks you can shoot, like I won't even touch that because I'm completely clueless on it. But
Hmm.
I know from like big game hunting, like just to give the listeners an idea, like I'm looking at that thing all the time because
Hmm.
they're always making changes to it too. So you
Yep.
got to be up on, I mean, compulsory inspection, and I mean, oh, there's lots, right? So
Yep.
just because you looked at it once, just keep on looking at it and go on their website too and have a look so you're up to speed with the current
Yep.
regs.
Definitely. I mean, personally, I haven't noticed any discrepancies, but I can see the risk. I think it's possible. And I also think that the more complex the situation, especially when you're talking about compulsory inspections and, where there's multiple layers of requirements, like definitely that's even more important that you really make sure you're up to speed with the actual official documents.
Well, yeah, because it comes like you're successful in harvesting something and then you get excited, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
hey, like you send it to your buddy and he sends it here and goes, hey, check it out. Look what me and my buddies got, right? And then they say, well, you better get that compulsory inspected. And not every species has the same window of when you can get that animal into your compulsory inspector for your whatever your region is, right? Or your management.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I'm not sure how that works. Management unit region. So like here's an example on what is it, iHunter there? They have one here. If you go to page 21 of the synopsis, it says cougar in any management unit except in region 4 and 6. And then it doesn't say anything. And then if you go onto the actual government website, it'll list if you're successful in harvesting a cougar, you gotta have that into an inspector within 4 days. 4 days is not a very big window to get that thing in there.
Mm.
And I know with elk and some of those units, it's like, I'm not going to quote it, but it's might be a little longer, but 4 days is not long.
Hmm.
So if you miss that and you know what I mean? You're on social media or like us, you're putting it out there. Like that's you're going to get in crap for that one.
Yeah, you gotta look at the regs before you go out there, I think is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't rely. You know what it reminds me of is, you know how folks go out there with their GPS device, but they don't have any compass.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's great to rely on technology to a point, and you know, maybe in most cases it's 99% of the time it's fine, but there's always that 1% where you should have done your homework, and you also should have a compass.
For sure you should. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
like I can remember going out with my dad hunting mule deer as a kid here. I mean, people on the coast it's probably way worse for them than it is here. But like, you get that little bit of snow in the mountains, and it's in November,
mhm,
and then it gets really damp, and that fog rolls in.
mhm.
Like you don't know what the hell. You don't know where you are. You almost
Yeah, Mike and I had that happen.
yeah. It's like you almost feel like like a panic a little bit, and you got to calm yourself down because you don't know where anything is. Like
Yeah.
you can't see shit.
Yeah, and it's if you haven't been in that situation, it's hard to kind of imagine it. But you know, when Mike and I were in that situation, you can almost see this wall of fog coming in. And even when it was passing, in front of your face, like I could see the fog moving a few feet in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I could actually see it as like separate, from other fog. Like it was almost like being in a snowstorm where you just couldn't see anything more than a few feet in front of you. But yeah, it's crazy when that stuff happens. I know people that fish, that can happen in a lake too, and then pretty soon, you blink and you close your eyes and you kind of turn around in a circle and you wouldn't know which direction's what, right? So
I agree, Kel. I got caught in that predicament. I worked this job out on the coast in Rivers Inlet when I was like out of high school. It was for salmon and halibut. And the exact same thing you said. That fog came in. We just shut the boat off and waited.
mm,
Like it's a dangerous scenario. Like there's literally nothing you can do.
yeah, I hear you. Fortunately, in the mountains, or at least in the situation I was in, all we knew was, if we head down, we're fine.
Yeah.
But we were in a familiar area too, so
Which helps because I'm sure you guys did a pile of homework before you went in there.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I could see how that could get scary for sure. Yeah, that was all. I thought, in terms of a bit of a topic here today, iPhone apps, that's a good one. And I know a lot of folks are using those two apps in particular. Hunt Buddy is another good one. And it's kind of more, like I said, I just don't think it has the mapping capability. There is maps in there, but iHunter's kind of another level there if you're looking at research tools. And I don't think Hunt Buddy you can use on your desktop either. So, but yeah, I like to use Google Earth, Google Maps, FatMap, ArcGIS, a bunch of them. And I'll just look at the same area with like all 5 of those different apps just to see if one map shows something a little different than the other map. Because sometimes one will show a cut block there and the other one won't.
Depending how old the virgin is, yeah.
Yeah, it just depends when the picture was taken. So, yeah, that's, I think most folks know that. But
Oh, I spend the
Um,
majority of my time on Google Earth, and like I'm sure you know this. Like sometimes it'll show it where it's like in winter. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And you're like, what the hell is this? And then it'll switch out. But like you're saying, you get that different perspective. And then what you were talking about before on that map with layering with the different types of trees and all, that's great. I didn't know
hmm
that. That's
yeah. That's actually, maybe it's something we'll have to cut from this episode. It's kind of like it's one of the more recent things I've been looking at, but I don't know, man. I think it's really just elevation. That's all it is. And I think the key to hunting is really just understanding what you're hunting as best you can, and that means researching the animals and what are they eating, where are they, what time of year, where are they headed at this time of year, what elevation is kind of average for them in the winter. Where do they go in the sun? Mule deer are kind of a good example because they're migratory, and they're kind of a pretty cool species from that perspective. But with elevation comes different vegetation and all that kind of stuff. So as you're heading into some of these areas, you start paying attention to when the trees are changing and all that kind of stuff. And we always say it takes time to figure out what you're doing out there, but I think that's kind of an example of it. Is you just start becoming more aware of your surroundings
and
and
that's
kind of making links. You're connecting dots a little better than you would. I mean, I might still go 5 more years without getting a big buck, but you're still learning, and you just got to be in the right spot at the right time.
oh, absolutely. Like I'm using that same concept that you described there with cats. I'm thinking, where are all these deer going to winter? Like, why would a cat hang out in an area where there's no food?
Yeah.
I'd imagine they're going to follow whatever their main source of food is. So, where are the deer hanging out at this time of the year, or whatever they're eating? Right? Elk, moose,
Mm-hmm.
deer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Probably hanging out in your backyard.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it, man. That yeah.
Yeah. um, yeah, man. Well, it's still, keep me posted on your cat hunts coming up here. I'm sure that won't be the last one you go out on, and I'm still looking forward to a text message from you saying that you had a successful hunt here, and we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I can't wait too. Even just to get one up the tree would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would help the development of the dogs too, right?
For sure.
You get them on something.
Although I got into that thing there before where I was saying I was trying to like train them on a track and what to break them off trash, and the people said, well, it should be like the people I was asking said they said it's in their nature just to run, so don't be discouraged if you're breaking them off running trash. Because the whole time I was like, man, are these things actually going to track something? Because the whole time I've been like, no, you can't go after that. No, you can't go after that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's in them to track scent. So for the plus side, they do have that in them. They have the drive to run a track. So it's good. I'm good there. I felt a lot more confident after that conversation.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, I think we've done our time tonight, and just keep me posted on the cat front. I don't think I'm going to be getting out, anytime too soon. But the spring is fast approaching, so you know what that means: bear and turkey.
Oh yeah, I
We've
can't wait.
we've said that in the last couple episodes, but time flies, so it won't be long, and we'll be chasing some bear. So really looking forward to that. This is kind of the tough part about hunting, man. Like once November's done, for the most part, it's a really long wait.
To you back at her to make plans, eh?
Yeah, you wait until March, April again. So, it's good to hunker down and kind of enjoy the food if you got some in the freezer. But I'm starting to run pretty low here, so I think I've got a couple bricks of ground mule deer and, some other tidbits here and there, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I got
So-
nothing.
Yeah. So
Oh.
it's a due time, man.
Yeah.
We got to make something happen pretty soon in the next couple months. But anyways, we'll touch base soon enough, man.
Sounds good, Kelly.
Okay, buddy. Good chat. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Take her easy.
Right there it is, episode 131. If you guys want to get involved, you can always reach out and ask questions or submit some show topic ideas. Instagram is a good place to do that. It's the Rookie Hunter Podcast. You'll find it on there. Or you can send an email to info@therookihunter.com. Also, if you guys want to help, you can leave a rating and a review for us on iTunes. That certainly helps. You've heard me say that many times, but do that, or you can do that wherever you guys are streaming from. That goes a long way. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.